Republican side have basically bowed out gracefully because they don't have a chance with former President Trump. And on the Democratic side, there's a lot of stuff coming out of Chicago that many people may think is not serious. That First Lady Michelle Obama may run for president, which literally is a very interesting perspective if you understand progressives' agenda, globalist agenda, and basically just policy making. Dr. Short and myself, we're not here to tell nobody what to vote for.
I am. Please vote for Trump. Vote against Biden. This is a disaster. You can't afford gas. The only thing that's on sale is sex because you need something to buy gas and food with. Please oppose Biden in 2024. Do not vote for Biden. We stay the hell home, but don't vote for this. We can't do. I mean, this is ridiculous.
So I put some interesting links in the chat that was said in reference to Nikki Haley, in reference to Latina James. Because see, we got to understand that even if it's local politics, a lot of the Democrats, what they do locally, is they follow party lines. They follow party lines like we like to say that it's coded behavior. The Democrats follow a certain code. You notice the major cities in America, how they're all what they call sanctuary cities. They're all being destroyed by illegals. They're not migrants, they're illegals. They commit crimes, all types of stuff going on. I know a lot of people felt some way about Tim Scott's endorsement of President Trump, but know that Tim Scott is one of the only black senators that from the Republican side. He's the only black male senator from the Republican side, and Cory Booker is the only black man senator from the Democrat side.
Well, we're using the word man nominally.
So, Dr. Short, what's going on?
Oh, well, we're going to talk about black leadership, but to my channel, I want to say hello to all of you coon busters, all of you angry black men, and submissive angry black women, aka Wazis. Hello, hello, hello. Happy 21st of January, 2024. This is a day that the Lord has made. Nikki Haley's been exposed, and I will be glad in it. This is a great day. Not only am I talking about black political corruption, but it goes hand in hand with the fall of American feminism, because it all works together. It's the same crooked ass bunch of people. And so stick around. We're going to stick it to them. And I want to just tell y'all, there's a film called American Fiction. I've been wanting to see it. Please go to see it. Also, I guess it's going to be on Netflix soon. They're going to have Regina King playing Shirley Chisholm. My biggest complaint is Regina King isn't ugly enough to play Shirley Chisholm effectively. I mean, they could have given that to somebody else, But anyway, we're here to talk about the fall of this culture. There's a degenerate, crooked black elite culture that is in the way. It needs to go. God, if we could give booster shots to the mortality rate of our traders, I would sign up for all of them to get it. In fact, quadruple boosters. Since you took the other one, take this one too. Don't worry about what's in it. Just roll up your sleeve and take it like you did in 20, 21, 22. And if truth be told, weaklings are going to do it in 23 and 24.
So, Dr. Short, we can get right into Nikki Haley. She's the basically.
And raise your volume as loud as you can, because I may need to change where I put you.
She's basically.
Can you put your volume up? I want to make certain that my folk can hear you. We need some new mics. I will buy some new mics.
Yeah, Dr. Short.
We definitely. We absolutely, in this year, we want the sound to improve. I had a microphone, but the microphone didn't work as well as the internal microphone here. I have another microphone, but you have to have a mixer, and it just gets. I'm not a tech person. You know what I'm saying in a minute. So, can you crank your sound up anymore on your end?
No, it'll start giving a kickback if I
Okay, I
get
don't
it.
want you to give kickback. So, let me do this. I'm going to treat everybody like they're white. I
Somebody in the chat said, yeah, Sterling K. Brown did play in American Fiction. He did play a gay character. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about the movie in general. If you, I did a review on the movie, very short, 12 minutes. But if you check the movie out and you get the main course of the movie and what is being said in the movie, you may get something out of the movie. I'm not. Look, people like what they like. If you watch mainstream TV today, you're gonna see that stuff that you don't agree with your core. I can't, like I said, I can't tell you what to do with your personal life.
well,
However, I'm gonna tell you if you're into movies and you want to see a good movie that has a decent message, American Fiction is a very I believe a very good movie. And,
oh,
and it's about Black American families. So we try to turn a blind eye on our ills in our personal families, and then we'll get online or in the internet and act like our personal families are perfect.
no, our families are
Our
far
family
from
is messed up
perfect.
as everybody else.
Our families are far from perfect.
So
We know our families are jacked up. We know this.
yeah,
We know this. All right. So I want to say hello to you, those that are on Facebook, those that are here in the stream, those that are on all the different other places. Just hello to you. Hello to you. This is the first time we've done something in what, a month or two? It's been
yeah.
forever, dude. I said, I said, what the white people got to him? He hates me. Oh my God, he's become a coon. I said, they probably offered him another dome, man. It's just,
Y'all don't listen to Dr. Short. When I wasn't feeling well, actually, Dr. Short was texting me and calling, checking up on, making sure I was well more than anything.
yeah,
It
I
really
was wondering what was this. God, that's not like him.
was still amongst the
Yeah,
living.
well, we've had people's asses just drop dead these days. If you know anybody, you haven't heard from them, check around. You'd be amazed at who's here today, gone tomorrow. All that modern medicine that nobody can say anything about. Here today, gone tomorrow. Check in on anybody that you're concerned about. You
Yeah.
never know. I sent someone a text and they were literally dying, breathing their last breaths when I text them.
Mm.
Uh, that's so they're here today. They're gone tomorrow. Check in, give a damn about people. All kinds of stuff is happening. But yes, we are going to talk about crooked, sellout, no good black leadership, and we're going to talk about this feminism thing. But I need to first of all just bring to your attention this sorry Nikki Haley broad because she's been just doing all kinds of stuff that's out of control.
Who is she? What's her
Well,
name?
Nikki Haley, her name is Nimarata Randhawa. Randhawa. She's Indian. Her parents are immigrants here. They came to South Carolina. The black people embraced them because they couldn't get jobs from the white university. And you know what? Like always, we hate black people. We love them while we don't love one another, and they hate us in return. Our stupid asses. Black people are stupid. That's you. We're in this situation because we're stupid. How is it that you can love people whose name you can't even pronounce? You never seen before. You just give them jobs and everything. And then their kids, first generation. If you look at Nikki Haley, if you look carefully at her cheeks, at the upper bridges of her nose, you can see what looks like to me scalding from skin lightening cream, from her bleaching her skin, trying to be white skin. Okay. And the same bitch got up and said that America's not a racist country, and yet you're trying to kill the melanin in your own skin. You're mutilating your own body. Your vitamin D poisoning protection system in your skin to pass yourself off as a white bitch. And racism isn't real. This isn't a racist country. It happened when she was a little girl. Well, maybe when you were a little girl, you didn't have as much skin lightness, so people could really see that you weren't white. So you got smart. And so-called non-racist America, you learned you could pass yourself off as the same white folk who hated you, so you said, and your mom and your daddy, by being just like the people that hate you, and you would get with them against the black folks that liked you.
Dr. Short, if Kamala did it, why can't she?
Kamala, I think Kamala, because Kamala's too dark. Kamala has too much melanin. So Kamala had to basically do reverse blackface, where she could pass herself off as a black hole to advance the same. They're both more than likely Hindus, or at least were Hindu, and they're on that agenda. They're both from that top caste thing that has this issue with color and looks down on little broke ass people in India. And wherever you've got Indians, you have this caste problem. In fact, there's a movie coming out now, on caste, that's on the book that came out. That's going to be interesting. Of course, she's in love with the white man. That's the silver lining in the film. There has to be someone white that loves and understands shit. Our slave ship ancestors would have loved to have met all of them because they would have gotten like a reverse trip. But anyway, that's another question. We're going to get out of that. We're going to just stay with Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley went to Clemson, and she's risen through the ranks. She's a military wife, and according to the Daily Mirror and The Hill magazine, she's a doubly unfaithful military wife. Okay, that shit carries charges if people press in the military. Y'all didn't know that? They can come and deal with your damn wife if she's cheating on you behind your back in the military. Which meant her husband, same hole that believes in locking everybody up and punishing everybody, got 2 breaks for screwing at least one other married person. And to me, if you cheat on your husband twice, you cheat on him 10 times. She and Kamala Harris are women, and this is common in a lot of cultures for the women to use sex to advance themselves. It's in our black culture. It's full of it.
Thanks, Fannie Willis.
I mean, it's Fannie Willis. It's not just her. I mean, T.D. Jakes, P. Diddy, Sexy Red, Oprah Winfrey, Gayle King. How do you think Gayle King get all that advancement? Oprah's helping her out. What's going on, Gayle and Oprah? Really? I'd love to be their ear, nose, and throat doctor. I'd love to look down Gayle's throat. Be looking. If I see anything fibrous, I'm going to say, we need additional testing. I'm going to see if I can link it to Oprah, man. Ooh, I'd be on the cover of all the tabloids. Look, sex, and it's not about, in fact, that's what our secret societies are about. They're nothing but organized sex and deviance. Sure it is. For swingers to come together and you get people to agree to marry, your husband's a hoe from college days, and you want to munch a little bit, on your girlfriend, so you guys agree to be together, and you have a miserable, fake, successful couple. That's what a lot of this Greek shit's about. Let's be honest, this is what our black Greeks and Masons are doing, and it's also true for fake folks in church. So these 2 women have used, like James Brown would say, she's got to use what she's got to get what she needs. Hot pants, it's part of the American culture, the degraded part of American culture. So she gets with this dude. She's working up under a governor in South Carolina who got busted having an affair with a woman in South America. Remember that, Brother Q? And Nikki Haley, on the heels of a man who got caught cheating on his wife in South America. It went off and disappeared for a couple of days, found out he had his mistress. And she was supposed to be, and this is what they do in corporate America under feminism. The assumption and the assertion is women always heal and make better. So if you have a real problem, got a dirty guy in a business, got a dirty male pastor, brought him out of pain, put a woman in. She's going to understand. She's going to be sensitive. She's going to make everything work out. I learned this in divinity school.
Or she'll keep you distracted from what's really going on.
Well, so you bring the women in to calm everything down. And in fact, that's what they were saying with Nikki. Look, you don't want Trump. And if you're tired of Biden, just bringing her. She's really nice. She's strong, and she's worked hard, and she's a woman of color. All this bullshit, and she's a hoe, a straight up hoe. And look, I got family in South Carolina. I was just disagreeing with a friend of mine of close to 40 years. Damn. Wait. Let me see. Wait a minute. 92. 2002, 12. Oh, yeah. We've known each other close to 40 years. It's about maybe 42. It's something like that. It's a high number. Anyway, I was just telling him, Nikki Haley's a hoe. She's a hoe, dude. It's actually, it's 32 years that I've known this person. But it seems like it's 40. And he says, you can't prove that. This is... I don't have to. It's going to come out just before the New Hampshire primaries. Mind you, I told him about four or 5 days ago, right? And in case you guys don't know, let's just sing Happy Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Nikki Haley. Now we know who you screwed. Okay. Nikki Haley, they dropped the two men who gave affidavits that they screwed her. On her birthday, which was January 20th, let me tell you, Donald Trump's people cold busted that hole. They dropped it on her birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Nikki. Bitch, they owe you that for saying this country's not racist. You're in South Carolina, where Fort Sumter is, the place where the Civil War started. The place that had massacres in places like Hamburg, South Carolina, where the red shirts, the Jayhawk walkers, the pale faces, you had more of these groups in South Carolina than any other place in the country. And you want to tell me South Carolina is not a racist country? You want to tell me, what's his name, Isaac Woodard, the black serviceman in 1946 who had his eyes gouged out by cops for riding in the front of the bus like he lawfully had the right to? You're telling me the same South Carolina that was in the Brown case, the same South Carolina that had a governor named Ben Pitchfork Tillman. If you haven't heard of Ben Pitchfork Tillman, look him up. He talked about how they mass killed black people, how they lynched black people, and they stuffed the ballot boxes in South Carolina. And didn't hide it. We killed them. We shot the niggas. We stuffed the ballot boxes. And Nikki Haley would say to you, no, we don't have a racist country. We've always tried to work to make things better. In 1968, you had the Orangeburg massacre, where the South Carolina Highway Patrol and whatever shot dozens of black folks for wanting to desegregate a bowling alley in 1968, when the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawed racial segregation in terms of public places. And what did you get? By the way, it was on my birthday. They shot dead 3 and wounded many more. Nobody got in trouble in South Carolina, Orangeburg, South Carolina, Orangeburg massacre. Where did a disproportionate number of people brought from Africa arrive in? Charleston, South Carolina. Strom Thurmond, the man who raped a young woman, who then was the father. Strom Thurmond creates the Dixiecrats to fight against civil rights for black people. Forgive me, fuck you, Nikki Haley. You should never be able to run for anything again. When you were asked what caused the Civil War,
Who was his mentee, Dr. Short?
who did he mentor? Joe Biden. This rapist, segregationist. The fruit didn't fall far from the tree, and it even extended with Hunter. Nikki Haley wants to tell me that when Dylan Roth went in and shot and killed 9 blacks and wounded others in at Mother Emanuel Church in May of 2015, and what the police did was they took the guy to Burger King before they arrested him. And I want to say this to everybody listening to this, because this is very, very important. Dylan Roth did not attack Mother Emanuel Church unaided. Within days of him being arrested, they had raised $7 million for him, if you guys recall. $7 million for this mass killer. And I want to say this to you. In March of 2015, Dylan Roth and 3 other white men all tried to friend me at Facebook the same day. I warned people that this kid was going to kill a bunch of people. I can introduce you, Brother Q, to one of the sisters that interviewed me the night of the massacre, and I reminded her on that Thursday when it happened that I had mentioned the killing would happen the Saturday prior to the Thursday. How about that? That's been recorded, okay, for all the people. Like I told the guy, Nikki Haley's a hoe. It'll come out before the New Hampshire primary. And I don't care if people listen to me, because look, God gives this. God gives us the ability to see ahead of things. Okay, so I had told you Nikki Haley's a hoe, remember? She's a hoe. She's a hoe. Can't stand that hoe. Haven't I? Right? You can laugh. I'm just waiting. And that's what I told him. New Hampshire. Trump is going to do in with her. But let's just say this about South Carolina. Those 3 white men that are with Dylan Roth, Facebook and all those people have been able to check their social media posts. They know that there are other white men that work with Dylan Roth. All they need to do is check my account. Who all tried in March of 2015 to friend me, so I guess they could come kill me? If you don't realize that Facebook and these other people cover up for white supremacist killers and acts against black people, you've lost your mind. Nikki Haley was governor, right? Now, the one thing she did do was when Strom Thurmond died, she did put in Tim Scott. She appointed him to be senator in South Carolina. And, I'm not going to give Tim Scott a 0, but dude, you were running for the presidency, the Republican nomination, and you had a white woman girlfriend and not a wife from South Carolina. The wife would have made most people want to kill you. But the girlfriend? Damn. I'm further north than you are, and I would have never done that. That white woman would have been, my wife would have had a ring and everything. If I just had to have a white woman and she would have said, I'm part black, so it's kind of okay. You could tell that white woman was so uncomfortable. It's like he grabbed her out of fucking McDonald's and says, would you like a McCoffee? Just say you my wife, right? What kind of dude doesn't know when you met a woman? You know the first time a woman gave you a rise in your drawers. The first time you had an erection, that's when I met her. You can remember it. Come on, they've seen some people and says, God damn, that woman's fine, right? He can't remember, but that's who she helped, so she put him in. And he also says America's not a racist country. But look at what he did when it came time to endorse someone. Did he endorse his sister of color? Did he endorse Nikki Haley, who put him in that Senate seat? No, he didn't. He endorsed Donald Trump because Donald Trump is a white man. Nikki Haley is passing for white. America is a racist country, and Nikki Haley's going to go down in history as a textbook example that if you're not white, you're not all right. And I'm good with that because she did all of these others and Asian Pacific, their asses need to figure this joint out. Y'all keep getting in these lawsuits in the Supreme Court to attack black people who aren't in competition with you. I mean, our kids, we're not the ones keeping you out of Harvard and Yale. It's the white folk. You keep acting against us, and it keeps backfiring on you. And it backfired on Nikki Haley. And for that tramp not to know that the Civil War is caused by slavery, that in 1860, the second richest place in the country outside of the city of New York was Mississippi, had more per capita millionaires than any other place in the world. Mississippi. Who gives up all that money without a damn fight? That's reason. You mess with someone's money, that's a fight. If 6/10 of this country's wealth or gross domestic product was cotton and all the other things connected, then basically in 1860, the basis of America's economy were black people. The most valuable property in America was black people. Telling people in the South that you had to give up the most valuable workforce in the world was fighting words. And that sorry broad who needs to stop dyeing her hair because it looks so bad. You should just let the shit be gray. You've aged out, Nikki. You've aged out the bleaching and the dyeing. You're done, okay? Be glad that your man doesn't mind his sperm being commingled with others, because a whole lot of people would have broke. They would have booked and left your ass. And she used this people of color thing to try to get some support, all the while being against whatever they call, what's that stuff called, CRT and critical race theory, and so everything that could in any way be seen as pro-black, you've been against, and you say this isn't a racist country. And let me tell you something. We've got to celebrate Tuesday night because I think that Donald Trump is going to beat her by 25, 30 points, 40 points. Do you know how many women, white women, are not going to vote for her for cheating on her husband? How many white men aren't going to cheat for an Asian floozy? They're not going to do it. As much as they don't like Donald Trump, he's a man. And the same way you women have double standards, like getting child support for kids that are not biologically those of the father, who gets put in a trick bag by hooking up with you. Well, we men get some double standards too. And it should feel good because there's a whole lot of hypocrisy around gender, where women get breaks that men don't. Women aren't honest about it. Just sorry. American women as a group are liars about stuff. Go to another country. If you really think that men will stand aside and let women get on the bus before them, you don't know nothing about the real world. And that will knock a woman over, get on the bus as if she's not there. I think that that's wrong and that's terrible. But what I also think is wrong is when you give up your seat to a woman on the bus and she looks at you like you're trash. Well, hell, keep standing pregnant. See, that would be wrong to be like that, wouldn't it? Oh, I hear your cat calling you. Are they jealous?
We beefing right now.
Why are you beefing?
We got a beef going on. He destroyed some stuff when I was away yesterday.
So you whipped his ass?
Yeah, so he upset with me right now. That's what great is if you can hear him. It's way.
Oh, I can hear him.
Yeah.
So let's keep. So Nikki Haley is a disaster. Nikki Haley has Black folks are literally, since Nikki Haley's been in power in South Carolina, black folks used to be about 35%, 35% of the population of South Carolina. What Nikki Haley and these other people have done is structured the economy of South Carolina wherein young black folks can't stay. They're all going to Charlotte and Atlanta. And all these old white folks from New York and other places that want a warmer climate, less expensive housing, they've been overrunning all the black areas all over South Carolina. Gentrification, Myrtle Beach, everywhere, all the coastal areas. She's presided over black folks just getting shoved aside in a place, a key state where black folks have always been, if not the majority population, close to half, or at least a solid 33 and a third percent. Now that she's there, wow. Now that Nikki Haley came in, they used her and they advanced all of those policies that were harmful for blacks in South Carolina. And she's going to say this country's not racist. She's going to say that. She's going to say that because it suits her. And so Nimrata, and her name is a lot like Nimrod, the person that built the Tower of Babel that was nasty. It's really sad. It's sad. So she is not our friend. She's never been our friend. She was a jackass when she was in the United Nations. And she never really did much about the slavery in Libya, the situation in Sudan, situations across Africa, the situation in Haiti, situation where the black folks in Haiti were stripped of their citizenship, and the Dominican Republic. She never said anything about that. She never said anything about much of anything. And so, she was just a continuation. She's not making any noise. I mean, so on the global stage, she's a warrior. She just likes war. She likes confusion. Like her private life. Because you have to have some confusion. You got two men willing to give an affidavit.
So, Dr. Short, I asked a question in the community chat earlier today.
Oh, segue, sure.
The question was, are black Americans politically bankrupt?
Are black Americans politically bankrupt?
And
Our leadership, yes. And culturally, right now, black folks are in a pathetic, pitiful, despicable state. It ain't everybody, but it's too damn many. And
59% said yes.
Who said, how much did they say?
59% of the people said yes.
What percentage?
59.
59%. Well, that number's too low. If we were not bankrupt, explain why black folks all over the country got behind Harold Washington in the 1980s, and why the black folks in Chicago are being overrun by these illegals. And there's no real outcry from the so-called black political class. A lot of folks aren't saying anything. Black folks being run out of their schools in New York. It's happening all over. Where the hell is it? Where is this goddamn Congressional Black Caucus? Let me say this to y'all. You know that you have an active black political class when white people are threatening to kill people and are making good on trying to hurt you because you're standing up for a population that they don't like. Until I hear about Maxine Waters getting a tire shot out, until I hear about something like that, or a bomb threat to someone's house, then it ain't real. You do not take the mantle of leadership in our community without facing risks. People who are in office 20, 30, 40, 50 years, like this Eddie Reagan broad that died down in Texas sitting in her own shit, says her family's legal case down in Dallas. I mean, it's interesting. She spent a life throwing feces at black people doing nothing, and the white folk let her rot in her own filth her last days. That's what happens when you betray the people. Is nobody likes a traitor. Christianity, which I claim to be a Christian, Christianity never purports to have any love for Judas. Judas sold out Jesus good, his ass is dead, right? Nobody's, oh, well, we wish Judas had got. No, he fucked over Jesus. Nah, man, somebody should have stoned his ass. Man, I would have hit his ass with the brick ass. You did that to my sweet Jesus? Man, I just say we take a bet and let's just do him, man. Nobody likes traitors except for black Americans. We're the only people in the world that worship, glorify, and make celebrities of people like Al Sharpton who hate our guts. We're the only people in the world. We're unique in our pathology of loving people that hate our guts.
Someone told me, don't vote for Trump, but in the same breath said, Genocide Joe.
Yeah, because you know what? This is why we have so much bisexuality in the black race. We really do think that you can be double-minded. The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. If Genocide Joe, it's interesting, if Trump isn't Genocide Trump and Joe is Genocide Joe, the logic would say you would go with the person that's not genociding you. But a morally perverse or deviant or confused person makes a person that would wipe you out the equivalent of a person you don't like. Black men, a lot of black men and women use emotion, they don't use logic. In fact, I see a lot of black men, they are more girly than a drag queen or a real woman because they don't have the ability to think like a man. They don't. They think they do. Just because you could physically beat me up doesn't mean that you think like a man. It just means you have the force of a man. But what drives the force of your manliness is female castrated emotional thinking, which isn't much. And a lot of black men are pathetic weaklings. They may be strong, go to the gym, press all the muscles and all. It reminds me of when I worked in a family restaurant, and one of the biggest black men in the restaurant, he's about 6'6", big, strong, imposing black man. But you know what? The white manager would feel him on his ass in front of the staff. And I've seen a lot of black men, they're punks at work to white men, punks at work to everybody, but man, they are monsters. They're Hitler, Stalin, Freddy Krueger, Frankenstein with another black person, especially if it's a black person they can hurt, but they don't have any smoke for anyone. In fact, these men don't protect black life. They have all this musculature to be assholes against people that aren't fighting them. And in reality, they are little white men in a black body. They just want to be mean to other black people. And somehow that will make white people love them, you know? And so we have a very, very powerful effeminate streak. And it's interesting, you see this effeminate streak now in your athletes and the dresses and the women's clothing. It's very strong and same dudes that would criticize your basketball game. They could do anything they want with the basketball and probably with the nutsack too, in hindsight. They're all this great athleticism, but none of it translates in the safety, sanctity, or protection of black women and children, or for that matter, defending the black community. I can break your jaw, I can kick your ass, but I would never harness that for the collective safety and uplift of black people. That's not how it's done. So we got all these bitch ass black athletes. I don't watch pro sports. I hate it all. I wish all the niggas in it would go broke, because if they were men and they weren't bitches, they would form their own leagues and turn the tide on the people that treat them like old race horses, that let them die of CTE, that don't care anything when these guys age out in 3-4 years. It's a damn disgrace that you have all these black men generating these millions of dollars and they can't even come together to have even a mini league. Even if they did the shit in Africa, they control all the stadiums and everything. They'd be billionaires many times over. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. It's not just black men and black women. You can't get two people to come together to form a fucking family. You can't get two people, two men or two women, to cast their lots together in honesty to create a corporation for business and opportunity in their community. Which is why you have, and you see this everywhere. Like, I'll take the black church. You have too many fucking denominations. All these different nigger Methodists, all of them are Masons, Greeks, and suckers. They should just be one big church of black Methodist goons. Why do you have to have a separate one? The AME's got the most money. The next brokest group is the AME Zion, and the most broke group is the CMEs. They're all broke. And what do they want? They all want to be accepted by the United Methodist Church. That's the white church that ran their asses out, didn't want them because they were black. Now that all the people leaving the United Methodist Church over sexuality, maybe if the church gets small enough, the white people may take them back. But just to hedge, the AME Church is going to vote this year on whether they're going to have openly gay bishops and pastors and all to try to show white people that they're ready to get back with them. Isn't that interesting? They go from being beaten, spat on, and thrown out of church to saying, hey, it's okay to be gay. Do you like me now 200 plus years later? That's some sad ass shit. We're sad. And that's if your church is that fucked up, your politics has to be worse. Okay? And the black church is a business. It's a corrupt business with a lot of stupid people in there. The two things that you need to do to fit in the black church is have your legs in your pocketbook or wallet open, and they don't care how you're living. That's basically how it is these days. Pay your tithes. I mean, give that nigga 10% of your money that he's not supposed to get, and you're all right. Okay, so just pay up, and we don't care what you do. It's sort of like a clubhouse. Where'd you go, man? He must have gone to take a leak. You know, when we're doing this, sometimes nature steps in, like you may have to pick your booty or, you know, something happens. Okay. It was quick, wasn't it?
I got issues going on. You know, it's funny. I haven't been on my computer for a couple of days. And usually when I use it a lot, it's never no problems. Now when I don't use it as much, I got problems. But, Dr. Short, let me ask you, because I know that, you know, this is an interesting topic, definitely when it comes to dealing with us. And just for program note, tomorrow we're going to have Dr. Short and Dr. Winters on a conversation on black leadership. So this show will kind of segue into tomorrow's discussion as well. Dr. Short, I know yourself and myself, we voted in the last presidential and general election.
Mm-hmm.
You usually hear a lot of people say, no tangibles, no vote. I'm not knocking nobody else's perspective on why they choose not to vote. When we talk about us being bankrupt and going into, we're here, 2024 is here, the general election is 10 months away. Are we as effed as it appears to be? Or?
Yes, we're more fucked than what we imagine ourselves to be. More. Okay, and see, you're in Pennsylvania. When they're taking schools, understand something. Let's say Biden wins, for all the coons out there that want Genocide Joe. I wish I had the power to make all the liar, hypocrite, confused, dumb fuck black people live with the migrants that Biden brought in. Because a lot of black people are selfish assholes. They only care if it happens to them. They don't think police brutality is real until they get their ass clubbed. When they get beat, a person puts a nightstick in their booty hole, then there's a problem. And by the way, that's a lot of black men are bitchy like that. So they can watch, man, that should never happen to me. And you know, a lot of when black men speak, they talk like that. I hear their voice at a different amplitude. That didn't happen to me. Comes across as, that didn't happen to me. In reality, I just changed the frequency. When you hear something from a man make an excuse, just imagine the frequency. He'll sound just like a bitch on a rag. Always a bitch on a rag. So in reality, we're more screwed. And I wish that the people who talk all this liberal shit, like that stupid ass Joy Reid, all these people that live in gated and secure buildings and all, if they had to live with these damn people that they don't mind the other 90% of black folks, they would shut the fuck up.
And,
But
and Dr. Short, that's the biggest problem that I have is they act like they live amongst.
no, they don't act like. They speak for their paymasters as if to deceive people that dare to represent or speak for us. It's too easy to do it, and that's the problem. I don't want people to get in trouble going to jail or anything, but in Europe and in other places, when they don't like a politician, they'll hit them with an egg or with some flour.
Or a shoe.
No, don't show a shoe. No, just if every time these coons went out, they got hit with some flour and people were laughing at them, word would get out that people are angry with you. The black community has been trained by our degenerate, deviant, bankrupt leadership to only get mad when a white person does it. By the way, they brainwash black women. They get mad when a black man does it. If a black woman does it, they absorb the bullshit. So if a girl's mother lets her boyfriend rape her and does nothing about it, she'll be mad at black men all of her life, but she won't say, you know, my mother was a trifling ass bitch to let that shit happen to me. My mother wasn't shit. My mother was
right in the other room acting like
right. Yes. No. This is we as a people are morally unethical. We don't look at things balanced. We can talk about. I had to go off on some boomer nigger. You want to tell me about the slavery from Europe? Yes. But what about slavery in Africa? What about slavery of the indigenous people in the Americas? I mean, people talk about the Aztecs and the Toltecs. These people used to sacrifice thousands of people and have blood everywhere. You're so proud of the little black people. Yes, black people cutting out folks' hearts and bleeding people out and playing with their skulls and shit. If that makes you feel good, I wish I could put you in a time machine and your ass get lost. We don't look at things, and I'll tell you, this is where you talk to Brother Juan. When black people had some degree of clarity and sanity, and I don't care who I offend, as when folks had genuine scripture-based leadership. Not even Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King wasn't living the Bible. Martin Luther King barely prefaced it. Basically, love neighbor as self. You're supposed to look out for people. You're supposed to stand up for justice. There's a foundation for it. It's called the Bible. All the black men that fought in the Civil War were into it. And all that, that's what we had. And then all of a sudden, I guess we get a few rights to sit next to white people, shit in the same stall in the bathroom, eat a hamburger, lick a white rectum, munch on a white vulva. Then all of a sudden, to hell with God, to hell with love neighbor self, to hell with don't steal, to hell with don't covet. We don't need all that. We're free now. What were you free of? You're free of morality, free of your foundation, free of the best things in your culture, and then all the nasty negative things that the liberals and the leftists and all want to see black people do. And I learned this early on. I learned this 50 years ago. Wow. 50 years ago when I started going to school in the inner city, that what I thought what was being black by my parents, which is reading, writing, studying, having, being an upright person, I learned dancing, stealing, lying, not going to school. That was black. So I was seen as white. Me who knew about Frederick Douglass and Du Bois and Nat Turner, I'm white. And the Negroes stabbing and fighting and stealing lunches were the black people. And I was an outcast. Over black history and culture, which they didn't know shit. They knew pathology. You know about shooting. You know about drugs. You know how to roll reefer. That's not black, that's criminality. But this is what's become for us who we are. And by the way, what's leadership has become pimping, betraying, looking out for self, not giving a damn about others. That's what black leadership is. Sharpton does it. All of them do it. We don't have anybody like I just saw this thing, the Grinch that Stole Christmas looking sister, Barbara Lee. All of a sudden now, because Nikki Haley says the country isn't racist and Nikki Haley's a Republican, she gets told that she stole her congressional member pin. She tells the whole country in response to Nikki Haley. However, excuse me, Barbara Lee, nigga, you're in the Congress of the United States. You should have been on the fucking floor bitching about how you get treated by the security, because when Cynthia McKinney talked about this in 2006, y'all didn't even stand with her. I mean, these people, it's only if it happens to me and it's safe to attack a sanctioned group. Black folks hate Trump because white people told them you can hate Trump. You can hate him. If white folks start saying you can hate migrants, all of a sudden folks are going to notice that their SNAP benefits and all that shit got cut. Right now, well, we're all together. We people of color, they need to live too. They don't say that about black people in the countries they come from. We're not moral, and I'm going to tell you, it comes from, I'm going to say it, godlessness. When you don't have a concept, a definitive concept of right and wrong, truth and fiction or falsity. And that's your culture where, in fact, if everything is everything, you hear Negroes say this stuff, to each his own, different strokes. Well, then that's how you get the trans man and you get the trans woman, and you've got a bussy instead of a pussy. And all this filthy stuff, and well, pedophilia, well, you know, some kids get ready. They ready, right? All of this degeneracy is a portrait of how people have lost their moral bearings, where someone sees killing a baby as health care. Yet people don't have a damn thing to say about black women dying in childbirth. Black women trying to have babies die, and yet they'll help you kill a baby even after it's born, stuff it in some formaldehyde or smother it, and that's, oh man, that's healthcare.
Two things, Dr. Short. What happened? Because the black church and our religious organizations used to be the base for black liberation.
The black church became a business. I'll just say this too, as a graduate divinity school, most of the people I went to divinity school did not have a mind to serve either God or the community. Most people go into the ministry because it's a pretty decent hustle. In reality, if you really work it down, you got a good parish, you get to work one day a week, right? You get to be the center of attention. You get gifts, you get trips, you get to be the center of attention, tax-free money, and frankly, free pussy too. Let's just go there. And free degenerate stuff if you're deviant. The church offers a whole lot of things. And the church has been hijacked by our secret societies, which are satanic and Luciferian, and the Masons and the Eastern Star. You go to churches, the people that you fear are not the sinners, but the deacon board comprised of people who don't believe in God, but have status and rank in the church, and they fight anybody that's decent. If I'm a whoremonger deacon with the donkey dick and I'm banging all the old sisters that can't walk anymore, and you get a new minister that comes and starts talking about holiness, you stepped on my toes. How long before he starts saying I can't screw whoever I want? This person asked for scientific evidence for this, God. Scientific evidence for God is all the people like you that took the shot, that had these quick endings. No, I'm just saying that suddenly have an issue. Y'all believed in that science, so you enjoy your science. I'm going to stick with God. So the scientific evidence for God is that people like you are deceived by lies and deception. As the Bible said, people would be under strong delusion. So, if you're one of those foolish people that believe in everything that you hear through television, and all one has to do is say science, you enjoy that God. I'll stick to the one I've got.
So
I'm not here. I'm not here to get into science because I'll tell you something. The
somebody,
scientific people, time and time again, have to say, well, we didn't know this. The same way DNA, they don't really know. They keep having new discoveries. So science is never foundational, nor is history. So, if you have a problem with the God fearing person, you don't want to follow me.
so
And,
what
and,
Dr.
and, and I don't like atheists. Atheists to me are the stupidest, most deficient, wicked people in the world to pretend that God doesn't exist. That's a sick mind.
So what Dr. Short mentions about the church, the same thing that has taken over the church has taken over the temple. You got to report to Chicago still. It has taken over even some of the masjids because you got to basically quasi report it to Saudi Arabia. And we said it and we don't care. But anyway, somebody asked Dr. Short, what does Dr. Short think about the new DNC show podcast led by Angela Rye and Bussy Gillum and the other chick?
You know, this is all to get people to vote for Biden. I heard Andrew Gillum has a new story that he got tricked and he got something happened to him. Maybe it happened, but the thing is, you're married, you've got children, you got a wife. Um, you're a person running. You ran for governor of the third most populous state in the country. You should have had security. How did you go to a city hundreds of miles from your home with no protection, no entourage, no one to watch you? And how did they get you upstairs, unclad, and in a bed with another man? That takes a lot of doing, and it seems as if instead of you trying to come out as swinging both ways as they did maybe a year or so ago with the wife grinning and how they are open, when that didn't catch on fire for you, now you got set up. You were set up. You were set up by sin. You were set up by Satan. You've been trying to live a double life. You've been living a double life. You've been doing all this stuff. You got a twin brother. He's the same way. And you are under the control of your appetites. It happens. It happens to the best of people. If you give yourself over to the reprobation where you're a married man and you're in bed with a porn star, a white porn star at that, and another white dude. I mean, how many people in the room? And they had drugs and all of that. But dude, you have a wife to sleep with. That's who you should have been in bed with instead of this dude in a city that you don't live in. So I don't want to hear anything about Andrew Gillum. He needs to repent. If you look at when Andrew Gillum was first running for office, all of the same people, Obama, John Lewis, all the people, the radical gay agenda, got behind Gillum. Andrew Gillum is a member of a Black Greek letter organization. They're going to fight for their frat. They don't care what you do. Once you go through the hazing and all the abuse, you are a member no matter what you do. They're going to defend and they're going to be loyal to this. Whether he's a disgrace to black people or not, the same way Kamala Harris is a full of shit politician, but you have a bunch of little stupid black women and the Alpha K, the gay, whatever the hell it is, the little group where they run around in pink and green. She's one of their sorors. So the fact that she's a total blubbering idiot that can't string a sentence together, they don't care. She's a soror. And, I've been criticized for talking about Kamala Harris being a whole. And what I said to the pastors, that's the only admirable thing about her. And it's probably the only thing she does well is screw. She's a failure as a vice president. She's a failure as a state attorney general. She may win elections. She wasn't even a good a mistress to Willie Brown. Had she been, she could have gotten to leave his wife that looked like, God, like a bleached apricot. I mean, so no. The church informs everything. Most people who are brainwashed, who brainwash the situation, who are brainwashed, Don't
See,
realize that, hold on, that the basis of your law comes from religion. The basis of all your societies come from religion. This whole secular thing to act as if there is no existence of all this stuff is bullshit. What happens when your loan on your house? It gets amortized, right? The amortization. Do you realize that comes literally from salvation, whatever, that it dies and then you're free? So even business, a lot of these concepts come out of the religious realm. This idea that there is no place for God, for structure, for right and wrong amongst us is the greatest weapon. And so, I absolutely know for a fact that things like thou shalt not kill, imagine how much easier it would be for black businesses if black businessmen didn't get murdered by the dozens all over the country. A lot of what happened to black businesses, it was blown out of business by black killers and robbers and crooks and junkies, shot and killed people all over the place. You know, and I know in Newark, if you set up a store as a black person, unless you got a lot of people behind you, you're going to end up dead, or they're going to kill your employees, because black folks who are criminals are monsters towards one another. If they even think you're making any kind of progress, they will rob, rape, and destroy your business. They would never do this to Asians, Arabs, or anybody else, or Italians. One reason is because there's a force of people that would kill them. Okay, and that's another issue. We don't have a penalty structure for the rogue, degenerate people in our community, whether in politics or anything. I could be a black pedophile, hurt people for years. Everybody know and nobody do anything about it. By the time someone does something, oh, well, you should have called the police. You can't put hands. And the loudest mouths in that typically female. In particular, when black men make a move that's a rule or a structure, I'm sorry, sisters, you've been brainwashed. The minute black men set their foot down, we're going to make this right, you get opposition. When the black men were trying to get the black people to stop buying from unfair beauty supply people in Brooklyn, who attacked the black men's picket line? Was it the New York police? Was it the Latinos? No, it was black women. When the black men tried to protect the people in Atlanta when kids were disappearing, who called the police? The sisters called the police, and the black men trying to protect the children. We've got women that are out of order. We've got men out of order, women who want to be men who think acting like women makes them manly, and we have an ungodly people. And it informs everything. In fact, you look at the little sorry black woman that's the mayor in the small town outside of Chicago who steals, and she looks good, so I guess some people want to sleep with her. So as a result, there's no move to remove her. She kind of looks cute, and what they really want is for her to give them a job or steal some money from the city for them, instead of having someone that properly runs and does what needs to be done for the city. Same thing if you have a male politician that's stealing. In fact, you look at the sorry preachers in Chicago. Lori Lightfoot would have never been mayor. Never. But the preachers in the city took bribes. The no good preachers in Chicago took bribes to lie to their congregants about Lori Lightfoot, who wasn't even from Chicago. She's from Ohio. She's with the woman that looked like Frankenstein with a back problem, right? And she's a stud. And all she did was destroy Chicago. And you had black preachers who were bribed to lie to their people and say she was okay. There is an unholy alliance between dirty politics in our community and dirty preachers. And we have another problem. So-called degenerate white allies on the left. They'll tell you about family planning, but what they really want to do is eugenics and white people out. Or they'll tell you about sex education, but they want to promote deviance and confusion. These people who come to our community bearing gifts are bearing trinkets of genocide. They're like the diseased blankets that the white folks gave to our indigenous ancestors. We shouldn't trust anybody. And what we should trust is God. And we've got to the point where we listen to people like that. That's ridiculous.
So you guys, in the chat, Dr. Short eloquently put, yes, we are, and I believe, I'm a firm believer in it as well. We are bankrupt. Black Americans are bankrupt. We're politically bankrupt in this country. We have nothing. We have nothing to show for as far as anti-hate bills. Reparations is a bunch of studies, 3 or 4 throughout the country. Nothing federally. Nothing federally. Um, we have a large amount of people who don't vote, and
Well, we haven't
regardless,
had anything to vote for, not nationally. We actually, at least Trump, whether he meant it or not, put forward a platinum plan. The bankrupt, crooked black leadership all over the country was saying to people, we don't want Trump's money. Same people on the government payroll went and said, we don't want his money. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What do you mean we don't want the money? And now that this money's going to the illegals, to the migrants, now you have black folks mad. Wait a minute, just a couple of years ago, this person said, I want to put $500 billion in the black communities. And people, well, we don't want it. We don't want it. He doesn't mean it. But Biden had no counteroffer. And when they did meet with them, he says, you've got to get behind the Hispanics. They outnumber y'all. You got to learn how to work with them. In other words, he said, you need to get under more recent migrants to this country, and they're going to decide what you get. And what's her name? Angela Rye and all these other people can kiss my ass. They were good with this. To me, the best thing that could happen to us is for Trump to win and a massive landslide. And for all of the liberal leftists and all to punish Charlemagne the God and the others with their contracts and shows being cut and slashed and them getting blamed for the Trump victory that they weren't able to deliver the black vote. Have I seen this before? Yes. I remember this happened back in 1972. Every time the Democrats would lose an election, from 1968 all the way up until recent times, they would blame the low black voter turnout. Not whether we got anything, but we didn't vote for people even if they ignored us. In particular, they blamed black people in 72. They blamed black folks. When Hubert Humphrey died, I remember people saying blacks did turn their back on Hubert Humphrey. Bullshit. Now we're going to see the Democrats go back to their old playbook, because for all these years they've been saying all the other votes mattered more. And, well, they've taken black votes for granted. Well, this year they're panicking and they need to lose. They need to lose in a disastrous way. And they need to lose in such a bad way because white folks are kind of evenly divided. If black folks, even a few, either stay at home, which, I mean, to me, I get not voting for Trump, but I don't get voting for Biden. After all of this is ridiculous. Stay the hell at home. And those people who vote for Trump come out and vote. It would wreck the Democratic Party. And at the same time, you have to understand the Republicans, a lot of them do not want black people to be Republicans, because if black folks come into the Republican Party, it's like moving Palestinians into Sinai. If you move the Palestinians into Sinai, all of a sudden Palestinian issues are going to come to the fore in Egypt. This is why a lot of Republicans will do anything to keep black folks out, because if black folks come into the Republican Party, which is very small, we could take the damn thing over.
one brother said only 13 to 15% of the population. There is not politics, which I disagree. Creating a cohesive family structure should be the only politics. Creating a cohesive family structure should be paramount, yes. However, you can have a political bank no matter what size of the population you are in the population.
Mm-hmm.
Asian Americans got political bank. I don't know nobody that has ever seen an Asian American go vote.
They don't have to. They buy the politicians. They bought the black movement. This is why when Liang shot the black guy, Kai Gurley, how he got off. In fact, Eric Adams is part of it. That's how he got to be mayor, that you could shoot a black man in the head in his neighborhood and nothing be done about it. And so all these people that voted for that butterfly McQueen looking buffoon deserve what they get. We have a very dirty, filthy, degenerate, crooked, lying, evil black class. That's all of them. And until people get sick of them and also get sick of the people in any community coming into our spaces. I don't care who they are. Let me see something. Oh, I got some people here. I'll leave this alone. We don't have time to tolerate anybody that's not for us amongst us saying anything. And we need people that are committed to one, our moral, political, social, ethical, cultural uh, restoration. And a big part of that will be people have to rediscover right and wrong, good and bad. And that Project 2025, it doesn't matter. People can blow off what I'm saying right now. I don't care. If it's true that the Republicans have a plan to only give benefits to people that are married, and they're going to enforce a nuclear family system on folks who've been doing whatever they felt like doing, it's here. It's not going to stay like this anymore. The change is here. And you know what? A lot of people are going to run because the demands of the people who've been betrayed by our leadership are going to become so great. If you really don't have a heart to serve people and you're just there for the money, the folks are going to come for you.
And that's how it should be,
And
Dr.
that's
J.
how it
But
should be. But I'm
it
just
used to
telling you,
be,
a
it used to be
disaster
your
is
constituents. You
a,
work for your constituents.
a disaster is coming to Black America, and it needs to. And the games won't be able to be played anymore. And the people who lie, for example, I remember being in student government. You could call me if you had a problem. I would do what I could do for people. I would do. I know other people, they just wanted it. They were resume whores. In fact, that's what Black politicians and others, they're resume whores and they're bag whores. They just want money and they want to look good. They don't want to serve anyone. They don't want to help anyone. They don't want to do right by anyone. That's a fundamental problem. There's no way. I can recall, when Hurricane Katrina occurred, which is in 2006. I was at the Progressive National Baptist headquarters, and money was collected for the people in Katrina by these preachers. Money came in. Um, I'm pretty certain that the preachers stole the money from the people. A lot of the people didn't get anything. A lot of those houses and stuff didn't get built back or whatever. They didn't. They took the money. A lot of these pastors moved out of town too. I, a lot of that money got stolen. The reason I suspect is the vice president of the National Progressive Baptist Ministers stole the equivalent of like $200,000 from a church 4 blocks from my house. Now, to me, if you'll steal from one church, how much would you steal with a disaster fund like that and no one's watching you? Okay. Uh, how does Eddie Long get to spend $25 million on sugar boys? Imagine how many houses that could have built, or some seed money for Black businesses, or seed money for housing development. All kinds of things could have been done with that, instead of putting it on your private parts. I mean, really. I mean, we have money like that coming through our institutions and persons. You know how much money goes through these HBCUs, and the money is being pilfered. By the way, the HBCUs are run by our Greek letter people and Masons, and they steal the money. They do what they want with it. If I'm correct, Cheney State up in your Pennsylvania is in receivership. And a little bald-headed black lady shot herself in the head, and they have a white president, and it's still broke. I mean, at some point, people.
They said he was bullying her.
Well, I mean, he probably was. I'd believe you had a bald head too until you get a wig, broad. Put something on your head. I mean, is your head cold? It gets colder in Pennsylvania. Um, Maybe he was bullying her, but the issue is the place is broke. And there was one woman with the freaky African name, and when you look on the Cheney State thing, you can't find her name. They've like scrubbed her name out of everything. Her name is, it's ND something, And when I looked for it, I couldn't find it anywhere. They made her name disappear. You know who I'm talking about. She was president in the 90s at Cheney State. Yes, remember?
I remember that. I don't remember her name offhand, but I
But
remember.
you
I
can't
remember.
find her. What happened to her? When you look for the presidents, her name isn't on the list. They've revised this to show you the black elite. They've so busy pointing at the white man, the white man, the white man, the white man, the white man. They're picking your pockets too. It's the same thing done to poor white folks. Nigga, 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 the niggers, and white folks are ripping them off. We're being raped and robbed by people who we think, oh wow, their skin color's brown. They must be wonderful people. That's crap. What do they do? I mean, and there are people in South Carolina, a fish fry is all a congressman has to do. Do you know how much I like to cook? I got a lot. I mean, I love cooking. You mean I'm qualified off my ability to make some good fish to be in Congress?
Clyburn cornbread.
No, in fact, when a people are immoral, when a people are depraved, when a people are bankrupt, that is when their enemies creep in. The sense that we feel of being overrun by all these other people has a lot to do with the fact that we don't have our acts together with the Most High. There's no way around it. We can talk about voter registration and plans and all of that, and I can tell you, you can have an ethical program, and if you bring in kids from a busted up home where your mama's a whore, in the words of my cousin who had one of the best projects for young at-risk men in the country called Project 2000, he said, if that boy's mother becomes a lesbian and moves her girlfriend in, I lose the boy, he's dead. I can't, all the stuff I could do as an educated, trained at Columbia, I can't overcome the degeneracy of his mother. If his mother is sleeping with another woman and this boy has to fight all the other boys over his mother being a slut and a stud, therefore, he's estranged from his peers because his mother has no virtue. I'm going to lose him. He said, that's one thing. Every boy I've lost, it's been his mother. So I'm saying to you as a teacher, we can teach. But if their mom, if their family is sludge, we only get a couple hours, a few minutes to try to impact that kid. And the music they listen to, the food they eat, everything is sludge. The black community right now is a shit avalanche. It needs to stop. And only God can help us, and we got to want God and look for it. I'm not talking about getting in a cult. And I'm amazed at how black folks get into these stupid Luciferian cults where folks end up dead. The guy's always molesting kids. Now there's this guy named Jamal in Missouri. There's 6 people missing, a couple from D.C. These people get in, let the folk kill their babies, rape their wives, and all of that, and they have a hard time with the 10 Commandments. Nigga, please. Got a hard time with respect neighbor. Have a hard time. Real simple, common sense stuff. Can't do. But you can go back to Africa. You can go to Costa Rica. I mean, all this craziness. But some basic stuff like respect yourself, honor God, live decently, don't screw anybody that's not yours. Don't screw. Real simple things. I don't like organized religion. First thing they do is get in a cult. And it's dumber than anything, even the debaucherous.
Turn over all the assets too. Turn over all their financial assets.
Yeah, they give everything hard pressed. Let someone be a committed person in the community doing stuff. Well, what do you need money for? But if that person has a rhinestone Bentley, they want to give them all their money. That speaks to a moral degeneracy or a need for moral renewal for all of the people out there that don't know the history of America. Whether you like it or not, there were things called the Great Awakenings, where people turned to God via the Bible, the book that y'all all think is the white man's playbook. And if the Bible was the white man's secret book for world domination control, and your black asses haven't studied it backwards and forwards and back again, You're a sorry piece of crap. If that's his book, and that has all the secrets of how you're going to be made a slave, you should know the Bible better than anybody. And by the way, and it's funny, I love this, and they're so confused these days. Well, the Bible's about black people. Have you read it? No. On the other hand, well, Jesus was white. Well, he wasn't white, but and then it said, well, the Bible's taught black people to be slaves. And I told someone, you know what? Have you read the Bible, even 10 pages into it? Because if you get to Genesis 10 and it starts talking about who is identified as black, Ham and all that is everybody's black in the beginning of the Bible, right? Adam or Adam, that means red, brown, black, earth, right? Excuse me? But there's all this, I mean, so and that's the other thing. A lot of the Negroes that don't vote, they're following people with the strange hats and shit. I mean, they got a page from Elijah Muhammad or Noble Jew Ali. Wear a strange looking hat and Negroes just worship you, right? Ooh, have a strange cane, change your name, do something kind of stupid or off base, and all of a sudden people think you're holy. But if you're just a regular person walking around doing stuff in the neighborhood, people can't. Well, what are you getting out of helping the youth in the neighborhood? And that guy's a pusher asking you, what's the big idea? And do you get what I'm saying? You see this everywhere. And I'm looking at that sorry woman with the big weave down in Texas, Crockett. She's trying to get some position.
Performative politics.
Yeah. She's so, God, lady, you're stupid. She's always defending Biden. Biden doesn't need you.
About this, guys. She is a representative who's on the House floor arguing with Republicans about a Democratic president's son who's smoking crack.
And in bed with children.
Like, that's not your affair.
It is her affair. Maybe she wants to get with him. This is the big thing now. Is to always get with someone in another ethnic group. To me, I hope she gets him because his wife is tired of him and his ex is suing him. If she wants him, enjoy him. Leave us alone. Stop being my representative. Be somebody's side chick. Get out of representative politics. We don't need you.
All of her little clicks and clips go viral for what? For her to sit there and mammy explain why she's beefing with the Republicans.
No, she's Soros. She's Soros-splaining. All of them think that that's the way to get stuff done. All I want to say to you is that we're talking about the fall of feminism. People need to be very clear that if Nikki Haley can get tanked, they'll do Letitia James, Fannie Willis, all of these loudmouth, difficult, pork chop feminists. They're going to be crushed in very short order. Let me say this to you. By time, if they do not kill Donald Trump as much as people want him dead, for all the people out there that just hate Donald Trump, that's your problem. If Donald Trump becomes president again, oh my God, for the people who've been in on bothering him and his crew. And it's going to really be rough on people who are in on this because there's a lot of stuff that the media is not reporting. The media is propaganda. Once they got rid of the protections, now the media just gets to lie to people. That was passed under Obama, right? The Smith-Mundt Act. So now that's out. So now you don't even get real news. We haven't been getting real news for years. I have my suspicions it's going to be a very interesting situation in 2025. The first 100 days, it's going to be off the charts. The first 100 days.
Dr. Short said to me about 6 weeks ago, you guys in the chat, that Fannie Willis wasn't right. And I'm like, why you say that? So he was like, you'll see.
Yeah,
she got receipt. They got receipts on Fannie. Everybody said 2 weeks ago when Trump said what he said about her. Oh, he's just trying to retaliate.
And he hates black women. He hates black women.
Her.
Yeah. But did you see how good looking that man's wife, Wade's wife, was? He had a gorgeous wife. And this lady looks like Porky Pig with the St. James suit on. Or Petunia, okay? just, this is ridiculous. The feminism will be smashed and to a million pieces. And pork chop feminism, the ghetto homegirl shoplifting network version of
Pumping
feminism,
in hair, and
it's gone. It won't be the same. This country's moving to the right, and it's you're going to change it. You know, we tried to tell you, I know black men ain't. So now you'll learn from the other men that you look up to and respect. This is going to get checked. I just love this, the punishment that's coming. I can't wait for Oprah Winfrey to be investigated. That's the one I want to see.
we've been
And
dealing
I
with
just want
40 years of her stuff.
I want to thank all of you that didn't go to see The Color Purple. Just so you'll know, The Color Purple and the weekend, their estimate, I'm waiting for the real numbers to come up. They didn't clear $750,000 this weekend. I think they got $620,000 this weekend. Nationally, it's a failure. This is one of the first times I've seen a really negative film made to promote deviance and immorality fail. And they put a whole lot of money. They've been doing everything, playing with the numbers, doing everything, overestimating sales, everything to try to give this thing life. And I'm going to be looking Tuesday, because on Tuesday, not only will that be basically Coronation Day if Trump completely blows Tricky Haley out of the water, and I think he will. Also, The Color Purple's first international rake-ins will come in. So how much money did they make? Because The Color Purple opened internationally on the 18th. So I'm waiting with bated breath. I'm on tenterhooks, waiting for patriarchs. I want to say hello to all you patriarchs out there, all of you that are rebelling against feminism in your own way. That I want to thank all of you for not being hoodwinked into taking your special significant person to see that smut. It was boring. I didn't even like the music. I mean, the camera work was okay, but if you understand they're trying to promote an agenda that's anti-God, anti-family, anti-baby, anti-real womanhood, anti-manhood, and it's pro-LGBTQ and trans, I'll pass. I couldn't wait to get out of the theater. I don't ever want to see it again.
It cost $90 million.
$150 million to promote, and it's probably
hasn't made its money back yet whatsoever.
it's not going to make it. They need to make $250 million, and that's why The Color Slurple is going on DVD on March 12th. It's on Apple TV. I mean, it's everywhere to try to get somebody to see that filth. Oprah. I hope that Oprah doesn't make another film. If it's going to be like this, I pray she never makes another film. I don't care what happens. I don't care if she, maybe, a power line hits her in Maui, but we don't need any more garbage like this. Now, I know it's approaching. You got to work tomorrow, don't you?
You know it.
Now, look.
So,
I'm going to say this because it's almost time for you to leave. Look, now that you've recovered fully, and we can have these conversations frequently over the Angry Black Men's Book Club, as well, all of us, the United, which we should be called the real black media. We don't want to say new. Let them have that term, United. Yeah. United, the real United Black Media.
So Dr. Shaw, what you got planned this week on your channel?
Well, we're going to have Dr. Winters, and I've been wanting to talk about propaganda, mind control, eugenics. I had all the books and all. Didn't feel well. This is one of these great books here, Propaganda. Please try to get their PDFs. Read this along with us. We're going to probably do a few pages from this. It talks about mind control. I got a couple of these. And, of course, I want to get back to eugenics, racism, abortion, all of this. I've been meaning to do that. And you have to feel it. Sometimes you get tired. You get frustrated. And by the way, I'm going to do this is Crystallized in Public Opinion by Edward Bernays. You can always email me if you want to know what books we're going to do at wrandyshow@gmail.com. Dr. Winters and I are going to be covering this book, so I need to take some time to at least try to read a good 100, 200 pages in it. This is a very good book. Blacks in Europe. Blacks in Europe. And he has another book about the blacks in early America. So I'm going to have him on Tuesday, and you and I are doing a show tomorrow. We'll be talking about black
leadership.
black leadership. We're going to continue because we need leadership, and in fact, we need godly leadership. God
Also,
knows.
I have a friend. She's going to be coming on. She was an organization that is going after all of the companies that are sponsoring Cop City down in Georgia.
Oh, that's great.
So a lot of people want to know what's going on and who's behind Cop City. There's major corporations in this country who are sponsoring Cop City.
Mm-hmm. Well, because there's money in black prisoners, chattel slaves. I see Sister Temple here. I need to talk to her about when we can get together and we can have a discussion on what's happening in Chicago. I'm open this week, baby. So actually, that's somebody's girlfriend. I don't want to get my Miss Temple, ma'am, please. I'm sorry. Ooh. I don't need to be the victim of some black on black violence, man. Anyway, Sister Temple, please, please, please see if you can get the sisters from Chicago or yourself for us to do an update on what's going on in Chicago. By the way, you know that the mayor of Chicago, the one that looks like Barbara Jordan with the beard, had like a nervous breakdown. I mean, he's looked like he's had a nervous breakdown for a long time with that weird haircut he had that was pointed at the top, like, you know, an Urkel fade cut. I don't know what that was about.
He had a mohawk. He was trying
You
to
mean
have
a
some
whole hawk for him? Okay. In fact, keep praying. By the way, before we go, I want to remind everybody this is the Angry Black Men's Book Club, and this is Let's Talk 2. That's Brother Q. You can always look us up. We work in tandem with several other podcast bloggers, Chef C and Lone Wolf, and we'll be working with a Wazi group. Those would be our sister, you know, like the Temptations were the Primes and the Supremes were the Primettes. So we're putting together our female auxiliary. Just because we hate feminism doesn't mean we hate
You
women.
always got to make sure you make a reference to that daggone Diana Ross, man.
Yes, okay. Well, I do. I find it interesting. We are the primes, and we're looking for primates. So if you're an angry black woman that's sort of God fearing, please don't come to us with feminism or LGBTQ or trans. Please be a biological woman. We will not take you otherwise. I don't care who. I don't care. Take my channel. I'm not going to promote foolishness. Okay. I don't want you, and you don't want yourself. Okay. And if you keep messing around, God won't want you, and you know how that ends up in the afterlife. But we want your support. We want you to share this. In particular, if you have any feminists or offbeat people and they get on your nerves, share my channel's content with them. My motto is share Dr. Short with someone you hate. Use my content as spam for people you can't stand. People who don't believe in God, that want to kill babies, that think that, you know, a house is their rectum. All these kinds of people can't stand what we're doing, and that's why we're making content for people that don't like us. And if you like what we're doing, share, like, subscribe. I want to thank all of you. I have 600 subscribers, but I would like 1,000. On top of that, I want to let you know on Sabbath, yes, let a little bit of foul language not disturb you. We do Sabbath sermons where we talk about God, and particularly in the black community, where God has left our asses behind because we become really trashy. We treat holiness and godly living like it's roadkill that you pass by on the trip to grandmama's house. We're trying to reacquaint people with Scripture, and we're doing our best at that. We have 2 sermons up. That is on the Salt Ministry website. So we're doing, I'm sorry, on the YouTube channel. And if you like this, you can contribute $ Dr. Randy Short or $Randy L Short. Those are cash apps. I've got 2 Zelle accounts, wrandyshort@gmail.com or wrandyshort@yahoo.com. And of course, a PayPal, which is wrandyshort@gmail. That information is all over the place. I appreciate your support. And what do? We do news and analysis and cultural issues with Let's Talk 2. The Angry Black Men's Book Club, sometimes because of the needs of the moment, we will talk about trends going on in society. Like on Thursdays, we do PAT Talk, which stands for Patriarch Talk, where men speak and women listen. It is an anti-feminist show. It's probably the only black male anti-feminist show in the universe. We are here to bring patriarchy back, to bring femininity back, and to declare an end to feminism. And we want feminism abolished in our lifetime. Amen. And last but not least, the Angry Black Men's Book Club, it will be fully operational this week. We will be having either me read or have authors different books about history and culture from a Black American Indian Anglo-Saxon perspective. And by the way, we're going to talk about blacks in Europe. A lot of you think all the Europeans were white. I'm one of these people with Moorish ancestry. I'm learning this is crazy because I'm trying to figure out when the family become black. That's the kind of conversation we're going to have tomorrow. I'm sorry, on Tuesday with Dr. Winters, but tomorrow, join us at what time? 9 o'clock?
8 p.m.
8 p.m. Let's Talk 2. And I may put this up on mine as well for my folks, but please subscribe to Let's Talk 2. Brother Q has a whole lot of shows, and we're probably going to talk about the Middle East and Africa.
Black leadership.
Yeah, and we got to keep talking about sorry, no good black leadership. Stop blaming white people. These new fake black leaders are the African slave-selling kings. They're the ones betraying us. As long as they've got you obsessed on white folks and everybody else, and you're not looking at the deals being made at your demise by blacks who you think are for you, we're dead meat. Wake up, clean up, and with that, we're going to let you go. I'm hoping to do a show with Elaine Riddick to talk about eugenics. We still want to do all that. So we're not limited to topics. If there's a topic that's really hot and horny to you, you can write us. We do respond. Okay, you ready to sign off, brother? I'll see y'all. We'll do this again. I'm going to give you a call, Temple. All right. Good night to all of you guys. Good night.